Good afternoon, Hollywood. It's David Poland with David Reads Trades, episode 145, I believe, on this lovely January 29th, 2025. It's a Wednesday. I have spent my morning, by the way, you can tell I dressed like an adult today for some reason. It's because I was with Netflix all morning. We had a 9:30 event where they presented their slate for the upcoming year. I am under embargo until tomorrow, so I really can't say much about it except me like that's all. That's the closest I can come to a comment on the on what I saw. It was interesting. Not terribly surprising, but interesting. Let's get to the news from lovely Start with Deadline, as we always start with. Their breaking news is Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I don't know if that's good news for anybody, but we'll find out. With M. Night, you never know what you're going to get. With Night, it could be anything. It could be the best movie. It could be the worst movie. It could be a middle movie. It could be a movie that was great for 2 acts and then terrible for third act. You never freaking know. So we'll see how that goes. It's from a Nicholas Sparks book, apparently. So Night is going romantic. Ooh, it's romantic. Isn't it romantic? Anyway, the Dish, which is their next story, their lead story, is that there's a sale at Sundance. Oh my God. Somebody sold the movie out of Sundance, and it was exactly the movie you would expect to sell, which is the heavily promoted Alison Brie, Dave Franco movie that was in the midnight, purchased by Neon, apparently. The rights were purchased by Neon worldwide. Mike Fleming Jr., who is reporting his little tush off these days, says it's 15 million plus. I don't really believe that. And, days of negotiations. Okay, calm down. It's this thing, this is now 5 days later. It was not a big war. It wasn't a big battle. I don't really believe Neon put $15 million towards anything, but maybe it's possible. Anything is possible. Do I really think that's the case? I don't really think that's the case. But, Mike Fleming's writing it. Meanwhile, he's also attacking Richard Rushfield in his piece, calling him, let's see, what's the quote? I want to get the correct quote, an insufferable, attention-craving blowhard. That is what Mike Fleming Jr. says about Richard Rushfield. So we'll see where that leads. Oi. That's all I can say is oi. Michael is busy pushing the idea that everything's okay at Sundance. All is well. It's just some industry players and filmmakers went to the city after having lost their homes in the LA wildfire. And the distraction somewhat explains the sluggish sale pace. No, it doesn't. What is happening with festivals explains the sluggish sales pace. I will get into this some other time. I don't want to turn this into a 20-minute diatribe, but there's other stuff going on, and Mike Fleming doesn't want to acknowledge it, and that's fine. He has people to make happy, apparently. Eddie Murphy is going to do a movie called Blue Falcon, apparently. I thought Blue Falcon was actually a DC Comics property. I don't think that it apparently is not that in the script, but I thought that there was a Blue Falcon. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, that's funny. Elliot Page's Page Boy is adapting the video game Beyond Two Souls for TV. My most recent interview with Elliot was for that film, for that video game years ago, before the transition. So interesting that he is still with it. And, pronouns. Also, Netflix, which did not mention this at their little shindig, is going to be ordered Little House on the Prairie to reboot Little House on the Prairie, which, you know what? I bet it's going to be very successful for them. It's family fare. It's warm-hearted. It's loving. They just need to get the right cast together and try not to, unlike, Seventh Heaven or whatever, try to avoid anybody molesting anybody on that set. That would be good. Don't pick a lead who molests young girls. I think, isn't that what he was accused of? I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I don't remember really, frankly. I don't want to name names because I don't remember the whole story. But I remember something gross happened on that show. Wasn't it the case? Or one of those shows, one of those religious-y shows. Benny Safdie. I once did a headline for a DP30 with the Safdie brothers, and I called him Ben because I was running out of space, and I wanted to make sure his name was in there and get both names in. And I put it in Ben, and I got it. My God, his name is Benny, not Ben. Not Ben, it's Benny. Okay. Great guy, though, actually. The Safdie brothers I like very much. But he's going to be in, as he was in Oppenheimer, he will not be in the Odyssey. And he actually is perfect for it because he has that kind of Greek thing going on. Little House on the Prairie again. That's about it. I think we've got all the AFI is going to be in October this next year at the Chinese. So we'll see how that goes. They've been going a little earlier this year. I'm sure because they figure it's good for business. People needed a platform that was a little earlier in the season for those movies that are going to launch. They don't want to launch them all the way into November, I don't think, since it didn't work this year. Is there anything else here? Chinese New Year box office. Day one hits high in home market. IMAX sets new record for the Chinese New Year in China. They did $248 million in apparently one day in China. Very impressive. Probably $6 for American movies because that's what they choose to do. Variety leads with a Prairie reboot and pretty much has all the same stories. There's a new trailer for Magazine Dreams with Jonathan Majors, a movie that I find fascinating and interesting and worth watching. Jonathan is, a problem child, and I hope he's getting better, and I hope he's going to be able to support this movie with some integrity, and he's over his issues. We'll see. I don't know what else to say. He's a great actor, truly a great actor. He's great in this movie, scary and fascinating, and yet he's a problem child. So that's the hard part about that. But I hope that movie does some business for Briarcliff, and on it goes. Anything else? Is there any news here? I'm always looking for news, and I can't find any news in the trades. Wow. So, that's okay. They're doing McConaughey and Harrelson did their True Detective roles, but it's actually asking people to film in Texas. So there you go. Dogman is being projected at a $30 million opening, which is okay. Companion is looking at 10. Still not going to get us out of the $100 million into the $100 million business in terms of the weekly number, which is a problem that I keep on writing about and talking about, but nobody wants to listen. So there you go. The exhibitors are listening. I can tell you the exhibitors are listening. The exhibitors are concerned, but life goes on. Can't stop it. Let's see. Top story at the Hollywood Reporter is who will stand up to Trump's broligarchs. I don't know why we think this is a Hollywood Reporter story at all. It does. Yeah, it's an existential crisis, but it's really nothing to do with the trades. Writers Guild West posthumously awards the David Lynch Screenwriting Achievement Prize. Okay, congratulations to that. And of course, they have the Justin Baldoni 2 a.m. voice memo to Blake Lively because we just want to prolong the pain as long as we can. This now is like a 3-day-old story. It's on the front cover of the Hollywood Reporter now, on the front page of their website, and it's like, really? Okay. They're promoting Harris Dickinson as the next It Boy. I don't think we're done with the last It Boy, or the It Boy before him, or the It Boy before that. We haven't really got an It Boy that's stuck yet for a while. We now know that Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are going to be in a mayonnaise spot. They're selling mayonnaise using Harry and Sally for selling mayonnaise because, Sally likes it and Harry does not because he's a Jew and she's not a Jew. That's going to be the joke. I'm guessing that Billy's going to end up liking mayonnaise even though he's a Jew. Certainly, I'm going to watch Super Bowl just for that. That's all I need to know. Okay. Ben Safdie again. We got Anthony Mackie again. We got Lady Gaga. That's a 3-day-old story again. Brian Seabury at CBS. He's leading content strategy. Congratulations to him. That's on every trade cover. There's really not a lot of news. Monica Lewinsky is going to have a podcast. Thank God there's another podcast. You have to watch something other than this. If you're watching this, you're not watching Monica Lewinsky. That's all I can tell you. And she's going to be so much more interesting than I am. I'm pretty sure. Because the trades aren't that interesting. What they really mean is perhaps interesting, which is why I do this every day. Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman are in a rom-com out of Sundance, which I'm sure is delightful because they're both delightful actors. Moving on to IndieWire, since we're done, there's a review of the Alison Brie, David Franco movie, which is called Together, by the way, from Michael Shanks, and which is purchased. So it's the only purchase at a Sundance of any significance, because I'm sure there are little tiny purchases that we haven't really talked about yet that are for $100,000, $300,000. Be a lot of that this year. Okay. There's a review of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I actually watched before it came out on Disney Plus, and it's got its own charms. The thing is, I watched the old animated show when I was 8, really a child, like 4 or 5 years old. I think it was already in reruns. I know it was already reruns. There was no, I don't even know when it played for real when it first played, but I know it was in reruns every day in my neighborhood in Miami. I'm pretty sure I first saw it in Miami. And, you know, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Can't help but remember it and love it. But it's a form of kitsch. So now we're beyond the kitsch stage. I'm now old. So I don't know. Okay. There's a trailer that's a 4K trailer. Well, in that case, got to watch that trailer because it's in 4K. And Dan Fogelman wanted Paradise to offer viewers a full meal. I would suggest, frankly, that Paradise actually really works on its core basis, and that the full meal of it, which you really don't get very much in season 1, I assume will be much more heavily part of season 2, is a little unnecessary. It's not terrible. It's not like a bad thing. It's not terribly distracting. They really leave it out of most of their series, but it's. I think they could have just made the show that would traditionally been made, and it'd probably be a really good, enjoyable, watchable show. That's all there is. There's nothing else out there. So at 11 minutes, I'm going to say goodbye, even though I'm dressed in clothes and my hair is, not in a hat and I'm looking tan and whatever. It just is what it is, I wish there was more news to report. There's no more news to report. So I'm going to go. Have yourself a lovely hump day. And I will see here transcribed. Remember, you can get the transcription if you click on it and you go to the web page. It has a transcription of this entire thing. So you don't actually even have to look at my face, listen to my voice. It's annoying enough. You can do that. Anyway, I'm going to go quickly before I talk myself into another 5 minutes. Have yourself a great day. See you tomorrow.